Let me finally be able to go to Niko House, political commentator, founder of MCSC Network, who's been so busy tonight. I think we're his third show of the evening. Niko, thanks for fitting us in. I'm glad you're in such demand. We're talking about your president. Has he gone mad? Yes, no, or maybe? What do you say?
You know, it's funny that this is a question that I was wrestling with my friend earlier this morning. Some people believe that he's gone crazy, but that would insinuate that he's capable of making his own decisions politically. And I'm not exactly sure he is. There's this Alex Jones wing of his base that's now saying that it's everybody making the decisions for him that's the problem. But then you have to consider the fact that he's the one who chose them. That was the excuse they gave us the first time around. They told us that things would be different, whether it came to the intelligence community and how he handled them, when it came to the Epstein situation and the Epstein files and JFK files and how he handled that situation, or how he handled international foreign policy. They told us that things would be different because he's not, because he learned from his mistakes in the last election, in the last administration. I don't know if you can call him crazy, but I can say, kind of similar to what Russia said, that he seems like he's under some emotional distress and he is not making wise decisions. And I do lean towards the belief that he is not making wise decisions because the assessments that he is receiving are from people who are ill-intentioned and are working for the military-industrial complex and Western imperialists. However, that does not take away from the fact that he is the president. He is the one that ran for office. He's the one that said he was going to make America great again. And therefore, the onus falls on him. So when he makes insane, asinine statements like you're thinking about sanctioning Russia, or he allows things to happen like what we just recently heard, if what Mers from Germany said is true, if you allow Ukraine to use long-range weapons to directly attack Russian military facilities, well, at that point, the only thing we can call you is crazy, because I'm not sure what result you think you're going to get other than total and absolute war. And I would not be the person dumb enough or crazy enough to challenge Putin, because like you said, he is a lot of things, but an idiot who is not always planning ahead is not one of them. He is a strategic military genius, and he accounts for everything. So the statements that Trump is making and the decisions that he's being allowed, that are being allowed to make, the decisions that are allowed to be made on his behalf, does tend to make one lean towards he's either crazy or stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the best vote on this poll would have been maybe. In other words, the jury is still out as to why crazy things are happening. Crazy things are being threatened to happen. And you said, much as I said actually at the beginning of the show, that one of the key problems is that there's no consistency at all on anything, not on the files. I mean, I'm so old, I remember when Trump said that the Epstein files were on the desk of the appropriate official, Pam Bond, and she was about to release them. And they're still not released. Why?
Yep.
That
I'm old enough to remember even
the
whenever
JFK files, all these, if you like, process issues that don't depend on anybody else. Nobody else is required in your AG releasing the Epstein file. The Americans alone can do that. Don't have to persuade anybody else. So why has it not been done?
You know, that's a fantastic question. I remember when Pam Bondi was trying to actually blame the New York Justice Department, and then they were trying to blame some FBI officials. Then she said as soon as it gets to her desk, she's going to get this cleared right up, and then those files will be released. Then the several months pass by, the files aren't released, and then she says, well, we're facing some other difficulties. And really, it seems like they're just running out of excuses. Because, I mean, in my opinion, and I'm sure it's probably the same as yours and much of your audience, It's because there are too many people, probably some of his administration, people that the United States are allied with, people that are still alive, celebrities that are still still on the payroll. There are too many names that appear on the Epstein files, and you just can't. I mean, not just Epstein files, but even the JFK files. It would be a firestorm unlike we have ever seen. Not necessarily because of the names, but because of the demand for accountability that would follow. And that demand for accountability, I don't know if they have if they're brave enough to pursue it.
Let's take the Iran track for a moment. He said tonight that he's warned Netanyahu. He used the word warned, not advised or counseled, but warned. I mean, I don't know about you. Your kids are still too young, maybe. When I warn my children, they know I'm serious. I'm not advising them, I'm warning them not to do this or to do this. If you warn a country like Israel that is entirely beholden to you, that exists only on your dollars, your money, your weapons, your diplomatic support, that ought to be enough to stop it, right? So,
yeah.
Do you think it'll work? And do you think you'll still say tomorrow that Israel shouldn't do it?
So, if we're basing this off of experience with my kids, unfortunately, when I warn my kids, sometimes they heed the warning, and sometimes they test fate. So I don't know if I want to base it off my children, but Trump has warned Netanyahu in the past. Didn't he warn Netanyahu not to engage Iran recently, and Netanyahu still chose to engage Iran? The truth of the matter is, whatever Trump says in regards to Israel, as far as telling them to not do something, I don't believe him. This false bravado that he likes to project in regards to his relationship with Netanyahu as if he is the one in control of it, relies on the belief that it is Netanyahu that is truly running Israel. Yeah, Bibi is a problem. Bibi might be the face of Israel, but the reality of the situation is we know that Israel's goals and the powers behind Israel are greater than any one prime minister. So he can threaten Bibi Netanyahu all he wants to. I can believe that, I guess. Like, yeah, you threaten Bibi Netanyahu. However, the powers that run both of y'all, if they tell Bibi to do it, Bibi will do it. If they greenlight him to do it, he will attack Iran. And if they tell you not to do anything about it, you will let him do it, because that's who you guys answer to. And I'm just not one of those people that believe that Bibi Netanyahu is the sole proprietor of Israel's Genocide Incorporated.
Powerful point. Let's switch track. He always told us he had a great relationship with Putin, that he could solve the Ukraine war. Sometimes he said in an afternoon, sometimes he said in an hour, sometimes he said in a day, but it was always days, not weeks, not months. But now, after a 2-hour, highly successful phone call, he said last Monday, now, by the end of the week, he's denouncing Putin, saying that he's playing with fire and that some really, really bad things, he talks like a child, Nico, some really, really bad things are going to happen to Putin if he doesn't roll over for the American administration. What's that all about? Will the real Donald Trump stand up?
Yeah, I know. It's funny how literally from week to week, Trump changes his stance and his rhetoric on what's happening in that war and how he feels about Putin and how he's conducting himself, to the point where even Russian officials are saying they don't even take him seriously anymore. They're like, yeah, we don't really trust him. He's emotionally immature. He's emotionally drained, and you know, he's getting bad information. Therefore, we just don't even take him seriously. That in and of itself, I would be insulted if I was Trump, when people literally are coming out and saying they don't take you seriously as one of the leaders of the most powerful countries in the world. But it also, in my opinion, speaks to the fact that Trump doesn't actually understand the dynamics of the situation, because he's saying, okay, there are going to be some really bad things that happen. Like, what are you going to do? Arm their worst enemy and give them weapons? Take long range restrictions off the weapons you've already given them? You're saying, people keep forgetting, right? Yes, Russia attacked Ukraine with the largest drone strike attack that they've conducted since this war started. That was right after they said that these regions that voted, like the Donetsk region, Donbass, all the regions that voted to join Russia, that's off the table. You can't have them. Well, they voted to join us, and y'all are attacking them. That's kind of the point of this war. Well, that's off the table. Okay, so you won't give us that. We want a permanent end to the war, Russia says. Well, no, we want a 30-day ceasefire so that we can rack up on our armory and re-up on all the weapons that we've been using to attack you that we got from NATO. So that after the 30-day ceasefire, if you don't give us what we want, we're just going to continue to fight you the way that we've been fighting you. Okay, so you're not going to have help us achieve a permanent end to the war, just a temporary one so that you can rearm. Okay, so you guys think that I'm playing. Okay, cool. I'm going to light y'all asses up then. That's what I saw this weekend. Trump failed to mention that while he was condemning that attack. Every time Russia engages in good faith to try and achieve an end to the war, not a ceasefire, an end to the war, peace in the region, the EU, NATO, and Ukraine itself don't take those talks seriously. And then Putin has to show that this has been 10 to 15 years coming. And therefore, I have to ensure that this is not going to be the next 10 to 15 years. And I will do so however I see fit, because I'm winning the war. And so Trump can say, what are we going to do? Threaten to sanction Russia after Russia came out and said, yeah, that's cool. We actually prefer to not be part of your economy. Look at how great our economy has done since we've separated from you guys. It doesn't make any sense for him to keep pissing off Putin, especially considering you've also pissed off the majority of the EU and NATO, because they're not really your allies right now. We don't know where they stand. Yeah, I know he's not going to be president forever, but like in an immediate firefight, as an immediate threat, it's not like y'all coordination will be the tightest at the moment. How about instead of being pissed off at Putin, you talk to Starmer about this quote unquote coalition of the willing. You talk to Germany, and they're basically threatening World War III by greenlighting these weapons, because that coalition of the willing was talked about last month, 2 months ago almost, actually. And the coalition of the willing was literally, let's get a ceasefire so that we can give them more weapons. How about you talk to them if you want Putin to stop reacting to them? Don't talk about the reaction. Talk about the catalyst.
Nico, you're a star. Thanks for fitting us in, and we wish you all the best. We look forward to your continued political commentary on all platforms.